Good morning. Welcome to Discover Tai Chi. I'm Phil, and
Good morning, I'm Helen. So we're Discover Tai Chi. Thank you for joining us. We've already got some good mornings. So thank you to Pat and Chris who've already joined us. We hope you've got a cuppa.
yeah, make sure you've got a brew. We've got our usual rundown of the news. We've got some good, exciting stuff coming up in the next week or so. So wait on and we'll run you through that. We've got Jana as well. Hi, Jana. Good to have you with us. And then we've got some movements with Helen, and we've had our thinking caps on, haven't we, Hel? And we've figured out a way to get some step sequences into that Bafa Wubu form that we've been learning, and that I know that some of you were keen to get some steps in. Well, we've figured a way of getting some steps in for you to make it a much more dynamic form, but still keep it within a compact area. So look out for that as well later.
So thank you, Phil. Yeah, it's definitely spring. We've definitely had our thinking caps on recently. Thoughts are springing up, aren't they? So it's spring, it's Chinese New Year. So that's the start of spring. It's on Friday.
It's on Friday the 12th, yeah.
They tend to, as far as I know, people start celebrating or building up to the celebrations from a week or so before.
It's a bit, if you think of how we build up to Christmas, well, right now there's a build up to Chinese New Year or the Spring Festival, but it officially starts on Friday the 12th, runs all the way through to the 21st, if I remember rightly. So it follows a complete lunar cycle, and it finishes with the Lantern Festival, which is really spectacular. We'll post a link to that as we get to the Lantern Festival.
So you'll see we've got one of our first decorations up behind us is representing firecrackers. So firecrackers, very traditional Chinese New Year. So yeah, that's one of our decorations that we've got up. We'll be putting some more up. So we've got our traditional poetry that goes around the door. So it was kind of rhyming couplets or rhyming poetry, short little bits of poetry that went around the door. So
what do they mean, Hal?
So the poetry is very simple poetry. It usually reflects something about the natural environment, beautiful spring and beautiful views, but also happiness, good fortune, wealth, all those sort of things that you want to invite in the new year. So this is, I'm going to ask Phil to hold this one because that's the complete set. So that kind of goes around the door frame like so.
Yeah, this is a set. So that's the top of the door frame. That's one side, and Helen's got the other side. So you have a complete set. So yeah, this one in my left hand means flowers opening for prosperity and wealth and happiness. There you go. It's all about wealth, health, and happiness. And yeah, there's nothing wrong with that.
So there we are. So it's going to be Year of the Ox, isn't it?
Year of the Ox. So it was Year of the Rat last year. Now it's Year of the Ox, which sometimes people who are that way out will suggest that the ox suggests stability and hard work and down to earth. It's up to you whether you're into the kind of, what do they call it? Not
astrology, Chinese
astrology kind of thing. To be honest, I'm not that way out. So,
but we do like to celebrate spring, don't we?
But we do like to celebrate spring because actually that's what it's about from the Chinese calendar system. This represents the first day of spring. It could be similar in thought to Easter, which is a movable lunar feast as well, isn't it? Or festival, but also has kind of connotations with spring. So it's very much telling agricultural people that the worst of winter is over and that warmer days are ahead, and that they can start thinking and planning ahead for that New Year's crop and general kind of work that's going to be required. So yeah, think of it along those lines and you won't go far wrong.
So we're going to say hello to, we've also been joined. So did we say good morning to Jana already? We've got Maggie with us.
Hi, Maggie.
We've got Jill with us.
Hi, Jill.
We've got Judy and
Hey, Judy.
Dorothy.
Hey,
so good
Dorothy.
morning.
All our usual suspects, which is great. And we know we have people watching later as well. So hello to you guys. As I said, we're going to give you some quite exciting news. And we've got some movements from the 5 animal set with Helen. And I've got step sequences to build into Bafa Wubu because I've done this 37 years now. I can do that. I can go, actually, there's a way of doing this. So we're going to do that.
So it's not the official form, but
No.
it's an adapted form that we think will work well on in the kind of this environment, which is live stream, indoors and live streaming.
Yeah.
So yes, so thank you to everyone that's joined us this morning. Do let us know if you've got any good news. A lot of our folks in our classes have been telling us they're getting through their vaccinations.
Yeah.
They've been invited in, getting the vaccinations. So if you've got some good news that you'd like to share, please do. We'd love to share it with you. So what is our other good news?
So you may have seen, those of you who follow us on Facebook and Twitter, that we had a newspaper article in the local newspapers, Keighley News and those ones, talking about our success with a corporate workplace wellness set of events that we've been doing with a company based in London. And actually, we've got a global audience there, folks from Ukraine, Vienna, Dubai, United Arab Emirates, Germany. So yeah, we've got a nice little global audience, and we do that every Thursday morning, really early. It's a morning energizer for those folks, and we've had fab feedback. But off the back of that article in the newspaper, we got a phone call just the other day from BBC Radio Bradford to say, hey, would you come on and talk about what you're doing? And we kind of went, okay, if you like. And so, yes, we're going to be featured on BBC Radio Bradford on Friday the 12th. In the morning around 11:40. So if you do want to tune in, you've got to find BBC Radio Bradford on your radio device.
I think that'll be on the internet, actually.
It's probably internet only now, so you can look it up on your computer and listen in around 11:40. We've been interviewed by a lovely chap by the name of Sanchez Payne. So that's really good. We're going to be able to talk about our evidence-based Tai Chi and why we are passionate about being critical around the evidence base for Tai Chi as a health modality and as a modality used in recovery and rehabilitation. And so, yeah, that's what we're going to do. So if you are kind of interested, we'll post a link later on all our kind of social media for people to follow so that you can tune in on Friday.
And so that leads us to our next bit of good news, which is that next Tuesday we have some special guests.
Yeah.
So we are going to be interviewing, chatting to a couple called Jamie and Jeff, who run a business called Yoga for Ankylosing Spondylitis. So again, you'll have seen our messages on social media talking a little bit about this. So Jamie and Jeff are really interesting folks. They have the condition themselves. They have found yoga to be very beneficial, and again, they want to share their passion with others and use some evidence base to do that as well. So they're really passionate about helping people living with a long-term condition live the best they can, live the most mobile they can, live mentally healthy and physically well. So yeah, we've found them really interesting guys to talk to, and we hope that you will join us for that.
Yeah, so that's next Tuesday, but we will feature those guys live on this live stream.
We will also do some exercise and
Yeah.
some movement as per usual.
Yeah.
So we hope you'll drop in and give that a go. So if you do know anybody that's living with an inflammatory condition like ankylosing spondylitis, you might want to just give them a nudge and let them know that we're on.
And not forgetting that obviously the video then is hosted on our YouTube channel, so people can watch again. We've already had a message on Facebook. I can see a little question from Jana, which is Sanchez ? So I think you want the surname, which is Sanchez Payne, which is Payne, Payne. Maybe Helen will quickly put it in the comment box for you as well. So yeah, do look out for that. Last time we had a guest on, which is a little while ago, which was Paul Reed. It went down really well. People really enjoyed us hosting a guest and interviewing them, and we had some fab feedback. So it's a feature we want to build into this live stream where we begin to bring more and more guests on. That could be you if you want to talk about your journey with us into Tai Chi. So if you're kind of keen to do that, then just drop us an email or drop us a message and let us know. We would love to feature you talking about Tai Chi, what it means to you, what we do well, what maybe we don't do well. Hey, we're open to constructive criticism. Or if you have an idea of someone in mind who you think, oh, they'd be really interesting, why don't you have those on? And again, me and Helen are thinking about guests that we can have on in future. So yeah, just drop us a line or a comment and pass your ideas on.
Great. So I think that's it for our news this morning.
Pretty much. Look out Friday for our newsletter. We're sending it out on Friday to time with the Spring Festival or Chinese New Year. So look out for that in your inboxes as well. So there's a lot happening this Friday for us.
Okay, so we hope you've had a chance to drink your cup of tea before we get ready to do some movements.
Yeah.
If anybody knows their animal, their Chinese animal, do let us know what animal you are.
Yeah.
What are you?
I'm a rabbit or cat.
Oh, okay. You can tell, can't you? He's a cat.
What animal are you?
I'm a big tiger.
Tiger.
So we're going to be doing tiger this morning, aren't we? So I'll embrace my inner tiger. So hopefully you've had a chance to drink your cuppa. And as always, any questions, do type them in, let us know. I'm going to say hello because there's other folks out there who join us, but can't write in the comments box. It won't let them for some reason. So good morning to everyone that's joined us, or if you're watching us later.
Okay.
So we're going to get moving.
Yeah, I'll get out of the way.
So this is your chance to make yourself a safe space. So make yourself a little bit of room, make sure the floor's clear, make sure that you're not going to trip over a rug, a cat, the dog, whatever you've got around you. Make sure you've cleared your cup of tea out of the way and just get the body moving by having a little easy walk on the spot. So you may have stayed seated. We can do these movements seated and standing. Again, just make sure that the arm space is clear and get the upper body moving. You may even be able to get the legs moving a little bit forward. If you can sit forward in your chair, if you are seated, sit forward in the chair. Do think about being long through the torso, and the same for us standing. Really think about that torso lengthening away. A spine can get longer. If we're spending long hours at the moment sat down, we forget that we can almost grow just by thinking about it. So hopefully you have a chance to get the circulation moving. I'm going to see if somebody's let us know. Oh, Jana knows that she's a dragon. Okay, fantastic. So we've got some dragons with us this morning. And let's get ready by pouring the weight from side to side. So if it's comfortable, take a slightly wider stance. Soften down through the legs, up through the body, shifting the weight from side to side. This is going to help get our ankles moving, our knees flexing, our hips moving in the socket. Keep taking those nice steady breaths. It's not forcing anything, but make sure we don't tense up and forget to breathe. So getting the body moving with big muscles, contracting alternately and pushing blood back to the heart. So we're really pushing against the floor rather than, sometimes people misread this movement and they see it as this, which is more like swinging your hips from side to side. So if you want to have a go at that just to feel the difference, this is swinging our hips from side to side. Helps get the hips moving. But this is the movement that we use more in Tai Chi. We use this movement, which is called pouring. And you can see that I'm push from one side to the other. I'm a little bit wider stance. I'm a little bit more down in the stance, if that makes sense. And when you're ready, just walk the feet back, have a little shake out. So when we do our Tai Chi, we always stay within our safe and comfortable range of motion. And the great thing about Tai Chi is that we go slowly, and that allows us to explore where feels safe and comfortable and where might you've gone a little bit too far. And we can easily come back to that safe and comfortable range of motion. So let's get the neck moving and the eyes moving. This movement is called Hold the Mirror. We have one hand down on a table, one hand imagining that we've got a mirror. We're going to give ourselves a little smile, and we're going to just take out the hand to the side. And again, when we go slowly, we can see when these muscles start to stretch and when they relax. So we're really tuning into those feelings of where does things become a stretch and when do they be comfortable. So we're never trying to move into a stretch, we're mobilizing more often than not in Tai Chi. You'll notice that my shoulders stay forward in the same direction as my hips, so that I can really think about the neck, the head, the eyes. I can think about the extension in the arm. How extended is the arm? Are the fingers drooping? Are they really extended away? So I'll come to face the front, extended or kind of droopy. What is going on in the hands? It might tell us a bit about how tired we feel today. So let's do one more on each side. What can we feel? What's happening? Always not forgetting to let that breath just be natural. Come back to center, have a little shake out. Have a little walk on the spot. So you may always use something like a nice sturdy chair, bit of furniture, worktop, if you need a bit of balance for these movements. So we're going to do one where we're going to get the ankles moving a little bit more again. We're going to draw little circles on the floor. So if you know you're not steady, you might want to sit back down because you can do this seated, or you might want to hold on to the back of a sturdy piece of furniture. I'm going to imagine drawing little circles very, very lightly, just to get the toes moving, the ankles moving, I should say. So little circles. We're also practicing our balance. So make sure that you're staying nice and soft through the knee that's standing. So we try not to lock out our joints in Tai Chi. We always try to have a little bit of a soft bend in the knee. If you're ready, we're going to try on the other side. So I shift my weight, I pick up the heel of the foot on the other side, so this leg, and I'm just going to draw little circles, loosening the ankles. Again, use balance. If it feels better to have the hands out, make sure that you keep nice and steady. So it's important to stay with what's safe and comfortable with our balance. And when you're ready, come back to standing, have a little walk on the spot. It's a really key principle to kind of stay within that safe and comfortable range of motion, because when we know we're out of balance, our body will tense for us. And that's kind of not what we want in Tai Chi. We always want to stay relaxed. We want to stay sung, which means we're trying to let go of tension. If we're feeling unsteady or unsafe, then we tend to tense. It's that automatic reaction, isn't it? So there's a good reason for making our Tai Chi as safe as it can be, is because it's going to make our Tai Chi better. Okay, I'm making a nice wrist circle, so I'm getting the wrists moving. So it's quite cold at the moment, so joints can feel a little bit stiffer. All those fluids that help our joints move can be a little bit colder, and it can make everything just make it a little bit stiffer and sorer. So go with what, again, feels comfortable for your joints. You may want to open and close the hands. I think of these as jellyfish going through some nice warm Mediterranean water, just gently moving. Okay, and then have a little shake out or a little walk on the spot. So we're going to roll the ball now. So again, you decide. You can take a slightly wider stance if you want to work those legs a little bit more. You can be sat, or you can just stand upright. Think of nice and tall through the body, down through legs. So pick your stance that feels comfortable. Make sure the back is nice and comfy and relaxed. We're going to hold the ball. This is one of our key movements in Tai Chi, to think about having a ball between those hands, turning in the direction of that top elbow, rolling that ball over and coming gently back the other way. Take nice, easy breaths as you go through these movements. Again, listen to what's going on. It's your opportunity to really pay attention moment by moment, even if it's a movement that we know incredibly well. It's actually a better opportunity to pay attention to what's happening, because we don't have to think about where we're going. We can think about the quality, how we're doing it. Moment by moment awareness with movement. It's a great way to help relaxation. We'll let go of unnecessary tension and look after ourselves. So when you're ready, we're going to make one last turn, and we're going to come back to the center. We're going to put the ball down, and again, have a shake. So always to stop, take a rest, grab a drink when you need to, when you've done enough. We are going to do next movement called tiger. So we're going to have a little go at being a tiger. And this movement can look like a stretch, but we're going to actually use it as more of a pulling movement. I hope that makes sense. So we have tiger claws. So if you want, you can make tiger claws. If that's not comfortable, just have nice relaxed hands. We're going to grab the floor. So this is a bit like pulling up a carpet, and we're going to pull it up. So our hands are in loose fists, but pull that carpet up. And now we're going to push. So we make good contact with the floor. And now we're going to grab the sky and pull down. So that could be that feeling of pulling a heavy blanket off the top shelf. And now push down. So again, we're going to grab the floor. So it could be like pulling up a rug or a carpet. Pull it. Pull, pull, pull. Take nice, easy breaths, and we're going to push down. It's a bit like we're bracing. Maybe we're holding something up. Now we're going to grab the sky and pull down. Nice, easy breaths as you go. You soften down through the knees as much as you need to. Grab the floor, pull up, and push, brace. Really hold the sky up for a moment. Now grab the sky and pull it down. And bring the hands down. Have a little shake out. So imagining really helps us use the muscles. So when we imagine that the muscles are doing something, they really do engage more in the movement. So it's important to use the imagination and give us as well as it gives us a sense of how the movement should go as well. Let's have a little look at the monkey. So we've got a couple of monkey movements. We're going to do one monkey movement this morning. It's a little one that we're exploring because there's quite a bit to monkey. So I'll just show you what it's going to look like first. We're going to put one hand on the hip, one hand reaching out. I'm just going to draw that hand back towards the elbow, then bring it towards the cheek, and then have a little look up. So always stay within a comfortable range of movement for your neck and shoulders. Then we're going to come out. Going to bring the hand to the other side. Going to reach out and sweep that hand back towards the elbow, then towards the cheek, and then look away. So we'll do that again. So if you're ready to join us, one hand on the hip, reach out, swoop back, and then look away. And here we go again on the other side. So hand on the hip. It's almost as if we're going to look up to the tree. We're thinking of that juicy maybe peach up there. Then we're going to swoop the hand down, bring it to the cheek, and we're thinking about eating that juicy fruit. We're going to look up at the tree. So we'll do that one more time. So just make sure you go in a range of movement that feels comfortable for you. Sweeping back, looking up, nice easy breath. Bring the hand down, look up, stretch the hand back, and come back to the front. So I hope you're enjoying those monkey movements. Again, it's a nice one to get the upper body moving. So the next movement is crane. Again, it's another balance movement. So again, if you need to use a little bit of extra support, please do, and always stay with what feels that safe and comfortable range of motion, so that we don't topple over and we don't put any extra stress or strain into our movements. So the first crane movement we're going to do is we're going to bring the back of the hands up, then they're going to press down, and then we're just going to shift the weight onto one leg. You can see the foot that's nearest, my heel is lifting up, and I'm going to look forward, and the hands are pressing back. So that's the first part of the balance movement. And then I'm going to come back down and land with both feet, and I'm going to go up, press down, and this time the other heel's going back. So I'm kind of lifting up to one foot. So you go with what feels safe and comfortable for you. If you feel nice and balanced, back of the hands up, press down. If it feels comfortable, you may want to lift up a little bit further. Always make sure that you stay within that balanced range so that you stay relaxed. Pushing up, press down. And again, it's up to you how far you go, how much you want to fly with your crane. Let's do that one more time. Press up, press down, wings back, and a little balance with the toes, touch back. Last one. Press up, press down. That's our final movement. So that's one of our crane movements. Have a little shake out. So Phil's going to come in now and take you through the rest of the movements, and he's going to then go through the Bafa Wubu.
Yeah.
Okay. Thank you.
So guys, we're going to do our Bafa Wubu form, but if you remember, there's Bafa, which are the 8 hand arm movements that we've been practicing over quite some time. There's the 5 steps or Wubu, and we did start to make some inroads into the 5 steps, but we realized very quickly that we simply didn't have really the space or scope within this kind of environment, i.e. video live streaming, to really manage viewers like you and the space, because it does begin to get quite tricky doing so. But we got our thinking caps on and we came up with an alternative. So that's what we're going to start today. So I'm going to show you what that looks like. I'm actually going to come towards camera just to show you what that looks like. So if you're familiar with Bafa Wubu, whether sat down or stood in place, we start like this and basically we stay where we are, don't we? We go through, roll back and press and push and the grip and pull, the sweep, elbow, and then we do that on the other side. And we don't step. But the steps are important. So let me show you what we're going to do instead. Okay, we're going to start off as we do, but at the bottom we're going to turn out the right foot, close the stance. There's the ball that we form, and then I'm opening the stance, and now we're in a more dynamic bow stance to do our movements. Those movements are comprised of grasp a bird's tail. For those of you who have done Tai Chi foundations with us, either in class or have bought the course from our website, those will be familiar movements. As I push, here's the grip, here's the pull, there's the elbow, ready. As I unwind, I'm going to come through, and this is much more akin to a traditional kind of Bafa Wubu movement, to come through like so. There's the shoulder, then I can pick up the ball, and now I'm on the other side. Bow stance with a right leg lead, go through, grasp the bird's tail, there's the grip, sweep, elbow strike, and once again as I unwind I come through, and there's the shoulder press before we finish with a flourish. So, does that look more interesting? Does that give you a sense that we've got a progression here? We can go from standing to taking some steps forward, and it gives us a better sense of a dynamic. I hope so. I'm going to go through it with you now. Obviously, those of you who may be sat down, just go through the same Bafa movements, the 8 hand and arm forms that we practice. You can follow along. If you're standing up and you don't want to do the steps either, again, you can follow along. If you want to do the steps with me, then make sure you've got at least 1, 2, maybe 3 steps worth of room in front of you, because we're going to need that space. So again, you might need to make sure that you've got space in front, but you're not going to knock anything over. Because we can't see you, because this isn't technically a class as such, it's up to you to take responsibility for yourself as well and make sure that you're safe and comfortable. So I'm going to give you my right shoulder. I'm going to start, and my legs will be kind of a little bit out of frame, but that doesn't matter. I'm going to start from a closed stance, follow along. So we connect our feet, we take a breath, we turn the volume knob down to calm down the mental chatter in our heads. We open the stance. If we're standing up, if you sat down, get a firm footing with the ground, settle into the stance. And we commence with Qi Shi, where we rise. And then I'm turning out my right foot, hips and shoulders, stepping up and closing the stance, catching the ball, And then I'm opening the stance with the left leg, and we're into our Bafa Wubu sequence, but with a left leg lead, and it gives us a much more dynamic stance to work with. Grip, pull down. We're going to sweep the hands, but they only come kind of to the side, like so. Then I'm going to do the elbow strike, which I've got confused with. There we go. And then as I step through, and there's the shoulder barge. Then catch the ball on the left. We've now got a right leg lead to go through those Bafa movements with the hands and arms, grip and pull, sweep, elbow, step forward again, unwind, there's the shoulder, and then I can step up, and now I'm into that flourish. Let me come all the way back so you can see. There we are. Like so. Okay, I appreciate I get further away from the camera, it gets less easy to see. So I'm now going to come towards the camera. I'm really going to challenge myself because I'm going to mirror, famous last words, I'm going to mirror the movements that you will be doing. I'll speak from your perspective if I can. This is a real challenge. Let me just double check. Well, I like that. That's first of all, Maggie, I've just got to bring this one up because you're a dog. Okay, we'll leave it at that. But actually, I know what you mean. That's the Chinese zodiac. And then, oh, those steps look lovely. Thank you, Maggie. That's good to know. Let's have a go together. As I said, I'm going to come towards the camera. I'm going to speak from your perspective, but I'm going to mirror the movements. If I go wrong, forgive me, because you appreciate that's quite a significant challenge to do all of this, mirroring and speak from your perspective. It's good for my brain, though. Okay, so I think I've got enough room. I'm starting right back here. Let me come a bit further forward because actually I don't need that much room. There we go. So if you sat down, just follow along. If you are standing up with me, then I need to make sure I'm going this way, don't I? This is going to be fun. Okay, so connect with the floor, take a breath. So I'm going to mirror. Okay, don't forget I'm going to mirror, but I'll be speaking from your perspective. So we're going to pick up your left leg and open the stance. Okay, settle in that stance. Here we go. We open the movement with Qi Shi. But as we reach the bottom, turn to your right foot, hips and shoulders face that right side, and then step up, catch the ball, right hand on top. Open your stance with your left leg, and now into our familiar roll back press, but we've just got the left leg in front, so we can push our weight from back foot to front foot. We're going to grip, turn to your left, pull down to your right, and then we're going to sweep the hands just in front of the chest. Don't swing them forward. You've come too far. Just in front of the chest, and then elbow. Okay, get ready because we're going to unwind the arms, but take a pace through with this right leg of yours as we do so. Boom. Yeah, gives you suddenly a sense of what that movement feels like to step through. In in translations from the Chinese to English, this is a shoulder barge. So that's what we've just done. Now we're on a right leg lead. We've got the left hand on top, and we can go through our Bafa movements. There's push. I'm going to grip to the right, down to that left hip, sweep in front of the chest. Again, not too far forward. Elbow. And then get ready again. We're going to step through with this left leg. Unwind as we do. Boom. Shoulder barge. Think of barging into a door maybe. And then we can step up to finish. Sorry, this is your right hand. Forgot I was mirroring for a moment. In and up to finish. I didn't do too bad, did I? I managed to get through that without too many fumbles. Let me see what Judy is saying. Judy says, really enjoying the steps, working it well. Thanks, Judy. Shall I try that again, coming towards the camera? Let's see if I can do that again. That really makes my brain work. But it seemed to go okay. So, if you sat down, follow the hand and arm movements for Bafa elements, 8 hand and arm movements. If you're stepping with me, remember I'm mirroring you and speaking from your perspective. So I have to get my head into mirror mode. Here we go. Let's start from a closed stance. If you wish to have an open stance already, that's okay, but if you can, closed stance. Connect the feet, i.e. bring attention down to your feet. Build sensation into those feet of yours. Turn down the volume knob, which controls all the mental chatter in your head. Take a breath. Just relax. If things go awry and you lose your way, nothing bad is going to happen. So it doesn't matter, okay? Don't get too frustrated if things go awry. Doesn't matter. The qualities and the principles of Tai Chi are what matters most, okay? Here we go. Going to open up the left leg. Get our open stance, settle into that stance. Might want to take a breath again. That's okay. Here we go on 3. 1, 2, 3. Off we go. Qi. So turn out the right foot. I'm mirroring. Step up. You close the stance. I've caught my balance. We've practiced this so many times now as a stance. Close the stance. Right hand on top. Open with the left leg and ward off. Roll back. Press. Push down. Push forwards. Take a grip. Imagine you've gripped hold of someone's collar. Twist it to your left. Pull forcefully down to that hip of yours. Let go. Sweep the hands in front of the chest and then elbow comes forward. Here's the step through. So we just step through as we unwind. Boom. Shoulder barge. And now we can just pick the hands up, little weight shift back, ward off, roll back, press, push down, push forward, grip to your right this time, twist. So basically you're really getting a good grip. Pull down to that left side. Open the hands and sweep them in front. There's the elbow, and once again we step forward, boom, like that, and then we're going to step up to finish with our flourish. How's that working, guys? Is that working okay? Is that a lot to take on? I'm assuming it will be a lot to take on, but what's Judy saying? Excellent. Finding movements easier than standing in one place and keeping up well. Great, Judy. Really, really good news. I'm going to have a little cough, excuse me. Let me have a bit of tea. What does Jana say? Ha, ha, ha. I take it that you're doing really well there, Jana, and that you're finding it fun. I think. Okay. Don't forget, you can watch this again, because obviously we're live streaming on YouTube, and then this video gets saved on our YouTube channel. So that means that you can watch time and time again if you like. Let me have a drink of tea. Maggie says, you managed it and you chuffed. Good on you, Maggie. Well done. Helen's giving you thumbs up from the kitchen. Let's do it one more time, because I think that's as much as my brain will take in terms of mirroring and talking from your perspective. But I think we're onto something here. It gives us a way of introducing these steps. Don't forget, if you think about it, the steps are those Tai Chi steps that we take on a kind of diagonal. We've practiced them in our classes and workshops. You'll remember this. We sometimes associate it with crossing a stream, don't we? From one stepping stone, we test the stone, we shift weights. Yeah? Do you remember those little narratives of crossing rivers and streams, stepping onto stepping stones? So this form of walking, called a Tai Chi walking or Tai Chi gait, has been researched, and it really confers some good strength benefits, good balance benefits, some intriguing research that shows that it seems to be good for joint health in the hips, knees and ankles. And once you get used to it, it's got a kind of nice lilty rhythm to it, so we can relax. So there's a kind of dance element there. So you may want to just practice those ideas of these diagonal steps. You think about it, we're going from one diagonal, shifting weight to another. So that's what we're doing. We're just combining it with those 8 hand and arm movements. Okay, let's bring our feet together. I need to be across this way. Mirror mode, Phil. Okay. Once again, do a little 3-step process. Build sensation into your feet. It's there. All you've got to do is just tune into it. Pads of the toes, the heel, the ball of the foot, on both the big toe side and the little toe side. Just build that sensation. Now turn the volume knob down on all that chatter in your brain. Take a breath. Let's open up the stance. Left leg, your left leg. Remember, I'm mirroring. Once again, another little breath. And then on 3, 1, 2, 3, off we go. Let's make things a little more compact. Turn out the right foot, hips and shoulders too. Catch the ball. Let's not extend so far. Let's not push too deep into the stances. Keep a good, firm base as we go through these movements slowly. Less is more. Here's the grip. Down to that right hip. Sweep the hands. Notice that this hand, your right hand, palm up. This hand, your left hand, the palm is actually facing outward, not down, but outwards, like so. Okay, so sweep, elbow comes in. Here's the step, so I'm turning out the left foot, unwinding to step through And there's the shoulder march, like that. But I've kept good width between my feet. Then we're into our hand and arm movements. And again, don't push too far into the stance. Imagine that you're working within a frame. We talk about this again in our classes and workshops. Being constrained by a frame. Sweep, elbow. Once again, I'm going to turn out the toes with that right foot, step through, shoulder barge. And then I'm stepping up to finish. And there we go. Let me see. Jana, all sort of went wrong, but it's great with the steps. Yeah, that's okay. Again, I've thrown those steps in just like that. So that kind of, let's imagine that I've taken you on an unfamiliar journey in a car. And obviously, if I got you to drive that journey now by yourself, you might miss a turn or two. But if we do it over time, over the next few weeks, the journey will improve. You'll be able to do that journey more easily by yourself. So, for everyone learning, don't feel that you have to get it in one go. You haven't done it for 37 years like me. And I mean every day for 37 years, not once a week for 37 years, but every single day. So don't expect too much. Go with the flow. A little bit of practice will go a long way. What else are we saying? Jill, not quite getting it, but improving. That is probably the best comment in that, yeah, not quite getting it, but improving. That means we're making progress. Perfect. That's, I know we've got many teachers in the room, the virtual room. You know that. You wouldn't expect someone, a student, to get a concept straight away, would you? You'd want to introduce a concept, give that student the opportunity to get familiar, to get to grips with some of the steps that make up the concept, and only later would you kind of expect them to have a good working knowledge. And even then we know that there's a difference between the concept and then the application, i.e. if we're in a work setting, there's a difference about knowing to do something and actually doing it and doing it well. So yeah, really good point there, Jill. And yeah, Maggie's with you, Jana. Yeah. Sometimes you'll get it, and then next time you're like, it all just goes wrong. And then, yay, Jana. Second time was easier. Doing it smaller. Again, we've talked about this in our workshops. I won't go into detail, but we've got big frame styles, big stances, big hand and arm movements. Those were reserved for teaching the general population because you can get the big stances in, you can get the big hand and arm movements. It all looks grand, but actually the real essence is in these small frames. Small incremental shifts of weight. That's called small frame. So we've got large frame, which was generally just taught to the general population, and medium frame for those people who were going to get a bit more of an insight into the art, and then a small frame, which would tend to be reserved for just a handful of students, often taught on a one-to-one basis. It's the 21st century. Much of that was associated with archaic ways of thinking in terms of inner circles and outer circles, in terms of secrets and things. But we don't need to do that now in the 21st century. We've got modern day sensibilities, and actually the small frame helps look after our balance, helps us maintain a good base of support. The large frame helps us build strength. So my teacher always used to say, you need to do it all: large frame, medium frame, and small frame. Again, something we explore in our workshops. Let's hope we can get back to our workshops this year in some shape or form. Any other questions or comments? I'm going to come back to see if there's any more questions, if that made sense, but doesn't necessarily mean you've got the practice, but at least the concepts made sense in terms of what we're talking about. Should we have a little closing little breath awareness exercise as we do that? But if you do want to make any comments, do so. So let's have a little wave. Right hand, place that on your heart. Left hand on the lower abdomen. And just breathe. Just take a breath and just enjoy that sensation of breathing. And just do that for 2, 3, 4 breath cycles. Again, don't get hung up with how many numbers. Just enjoy that sensation of breathing. And then when you've done that, take the right hand, slide it down the sternum, the breastbone. It'll pop off the rib cage and fall onto the soft squidgy bit, the solar plexus. That's our second hand position. And once again, we just tune into 2 or 3 breath cycles. Really simple stuff, but very fundamental. And again, just enjoy that sensation of breathing. It's a muscular movement. And then finally, right hand sits and covers the left. What we can do is interlock the thumbs so that they slide together. And they sit basically in the lap, just below the navel. And again, just tune into your breathing. Don't try and do any clever abdominal breathing that you may have come across in a different exercise form. Just let your body breathe the way it wants to do so. Because it's clever. It's had years and years and years of evolution. And it's a very finely tuned instrument. The only people who really need to think about breath exercises are those people who have got neurological conditions that affect their ability to breathe in or relax, or those people with perhaps COPD or maybe very bad asthma, and there's specific breath exercises. But for us, just let your body do its thing. And now we just let the hands go. And hopefully that's just kind of brought us from some of the, we may have got anxious a little bit, learning those forms, learning those steps, but now hopefully we've kind of brought ourselves back, and hopefully we're feeling comfortable with ourselves. We know that we can watch this video again, and we can hopefully learn a bit more the next time you practice. That's the best way of making progress. Again, as all the teachers in this virtual room will know, is that there's no escaping a little bit of revision and a little bit of practice, and it all adds up to developing our performance. So guys, any other thoughts before we bring this live stream to a close? I noticed that we didn't plug the power into the laptop and it's in critical condition. So I'm going to have to end this live stream in any case. So thank you guys for joining us. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel. Don't forget that you can buy us a coffee on coffee.com. And don't forget to check out our website as well. So we'll see you next week with our guests, yoga for AS or ankylosing spondylitis next week. Tune in. It's going to be a good discussion, and we might see if we can get the guys to do some movements with you too. Thanks for joining us. Take care, folks, and we will see you next week. Thank you so much, guys.